6:52, welcome back. This is CTV Morning Live. Good to have you here on this Ontario's Election Day, Provincial Election Day. Professor Caroline Andrew joins us from University of Ottawa. Welcome to the program.
Thanks very much.
I know your specialty is municipal politics, but obviously provincial politics has a great and direct impact on municipal politics, so this piques your interest.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think provincial politics has a great influence on what goes on in local communities. I mean, it does cover education, health, and some of the big issues that really touch people's lives.
What is your initial assessment of the campaign and how things have gone up until today in the political arena in the province?
I'd say it's been kind of a paradoxical campaign. The campaign as such has been, I would say, not very exciting, but we've seen enormous sort of shifts in what seems to be public opinion. I mean, it certainly started a couple of months before the election started. The Conservatives had a big advantage. Now it looked totally neck and neck, and then in the last couple of days there's been different kinds of polls suggesting that it's swinging even more to the Liberal Party. But so it's been kind of interesting. There's all kinds of changes going on in what people think, but on the surface it's been quite a boring campaign, I would say.
I think you're right, and unfortunately that's what leads to voter apathy in a lot of cases, right? If it's not exciting, if it's not interesting, people don't seem to care.
Absolutely. I was surprised last Saturday morning of the election campaign, neither the Citizen nor the Globe didn't have a word about the election campaign on the front page. So it makes you think that, you know, that there hasn't been things to get people really excited and to get out and vote. It'll be interesting to see what the voting turnout is.
It is always a big question here in this part of the world, isn't it? I was remarking a few minutes ago about the situation in Prince Edward Island. The provincial election there, where voter turnout was, what, 70%, and the lowest in decades.
Absolutely. Prince Edward Island is, I think, the leader across the country in voting turnout, even higher than Quebec.
How do you think we get people to vote then? Because to me, it's a right, it's a privilege, it's something I enjoy doing, it's something that when an election comes, I make sure it happens for me. What is it about us that makes us not want to do it?
It's an interesting question, because I think I think some people think that the outcome is determined, that their vote isn't going to make a difference. So they think, well, I'll let somebody else go and vote. And, you know, I think other people don't think that perhaps federal elections attract more people's attention in this area because of the importance of federal government employment. People don't see the link, or they think that, I think some people are disillusioned about politics, don't think that political decisions can make a difference, which I think is a real mistake.
Yes, oddly enough, if 45% of people in this province believe that their vote's not going to make a difference, so they don't vote, it actually has the opposite effect.
Absolutely,
you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think people have been making efforts this time to do more voter public education, but it's hard, and I think in some cases the media haven't given as much. It's maybe not and I think the campaign is now becoming, the political leaders want media attention, but they don't want, they want it controlled their way.
That's right.
So that it's been a very controlled campaign.
If you look at the platforms of the various parties, Professor, is there anything striking about them? Is there any big difference? And that seems to be a lot of people's opinions, as it doesn't matter who gets in.
The main lines are fairly similar. All three major parties are saying we're not going to cut, or education and health are the big issues. So that's fairly, but there are some differences, of course, between the parties, and some fairly important differences, I would say, on secondary points maybe, but there are some very important differences.
Let me ask you this final question, and it's always a question that I have in my mind when it comes to political parties and the advertisements and the negative attack ads that they come out with. Do you think that that is a valuable tool when it comes to an election campaign, or is it something you'd like to see go back the other way?
I think it's something I would like to see, but I think also in this campaign it's interesting. It started out very negative attacks. Some of them have continued, but I think what you might want to call the latent legacy took over, and people began to realize that actually a lot of voters like positive campaigns. They like to be told what that party is going to do, but they don't like them to attack everyone else.
Yeah.
So I hope that continues, because I think it's and I think it actually reaches a lot of voters, that this is not about attacking the other person. This is, what are you going to do when you're elected?
Exactly. And I, for one, think that if you went that route, you'd have more people voting than going the other way, because I think they get turned off by the whole attack issue.
I agree. I think people do. And I think maybe in the middle of this campaign, there was a slight shift towards the more positive, but we'll see.
Yeah, we certainly will see. Polls are open at 9 o'clock this morning. They go till 9 o'clock tonight, and we'll see the results later on tonight, and of course first thing tomorrow morning on this program. Thanks for your time today. Pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks.
Caroline Andrew is a professor at University of Ottawa, specializing in the political realm. We'll be back with more. Our top story, of course, today is the voting in the province of Ontario, and we'll get more on that coming up with the next journey. Hour 2 of the program is next.